السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I hope the voice is clear. Let's check the technical issues before we start. Is my voice clear? And excellent. عليكم السلام. Just wait a couple of minutes until everybody gets hold of this live broadcast and joins in. Do you like the painting? I love the colors of it. Yeah, it goes with the theme. That's my point. After all, it's Children's Day. Hello, Shayma dear. How are you? وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته, all of you. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا سمية, how are you? وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حيا الله الغالية لطيفة, شلونك؟ إن شاء الله, عسى الله يبارك لنا إن شاء الله في الوقت, ييسر لنا في الأمر ويعيننا إن شاء الله نكون نوصل المعلومة إن شاء الله كلها كاملة صحيحة للجميع. دعواتك. يلا let's start. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، تجعل الحزن شئت سهلا يا مسهل الصعاب. سهل لنا أمورنا ربي زدني علما، اللهم افتح لنا فتحا مبينا، يسر لنا أمورنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، واجعلنا من كل هم فرجا ومن كل ضيق مخرجا ومن كل بلاء عافية، واهدنا سواء السبيل وكلنا هاديا ونصيرا. Welcome dear sisters to today's talk, and the topic is, as you all know, Muslim child inheritance. Now the occasion is International Children's Day, and as you all know, this is the third third day, investing this time to talk about children in Islam. And the sisters, dear sisters who spoke already before me yesterday and the day before, chose different topics, and I hope it was beneficial to you all. Now today, inshallah, we're gonna talk about the Muslim child's inheritance. Let's see if the children in Islam, do they inherit or not? What are the rules and regulations? And get a closer look at inheritance in Islam regarding children. Now, let's talk about first and start the topic. How was it before Islam? Before Islam came, there was no inheritance for children, no inheritance for women, and only men who can carry a weapon and go through battles and protect the tribe, those who can inherit only. It was different regulation before Islam, man-made regulations, and alhamdulillah, when the dawn of Islam started so bright, gave different rules and regulations and corrected whatever the situation was before Islam. Now, our topic is about children, so let's concentrate about that. Children before Islam, they did not inherit at all, and especially if it was a girl. And women used to be part of the inheritance. But when Islam came, gave them their right and their proper position for inheritance. It doesn't matter what the gender is, either boy or girl, yani male or female, that doesn't matter. Both inherit. Elderly, young, children, fetus until born, and decide the gender, either it's a boy and a girl or a girl. And regarding the situation of the inheritance, then the share gets decided. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regulated inheritance in Surah An-Nisa. And inheritance in general is a divine law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regulated inheritance in Islam in Quran. And the ayat is found in Surah An-Nisa. And there is no ijtihad, yani nobody can think their mind and make a new regulation or decision regarding the inheritance. Even al-fuqaha, the scholars, they had no different opinions regarding inheritance, and it's all described and regulated in Quran clearly with the shares in all situations. So subhanallah, and this can never change. As long as we cannot change the Quran, inheritance regulations cannot be changed forever. Disregard the time, disregard the place. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regulated this, and nobody can change it. And nobody, as a human being, a Muslim individual, can change the regulation and say, I don't want this relative to inherit. I don't want my child to inherit. No, nobody can say that. It is known in some movies, let's say some Arabic movies, when the parents are angry with the children or the children disobey them, and they say like, we're gonna forbid you from inheritance. This is not allowed in Islam. You cannot forbid anybody from inheritance, because this is the divine law. This law is made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and only Allah decides who inherits and who doesn't inherit. And it's all regulated in Quran before 1,400 and plus years ago. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Nisa, للرجال نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون وللنساء نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون مما قل منه أو كثر نصيبا مفروضا. خلاص, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regulated the shares, and it's obligatory. We cannot change the shares. And as Allah said in this ayah, for men, they have share in inheritance from their parents and relatives, and for the women also, they have the right and shares to inherit from their parents and inheritance, either مما قل منه أو كثر. Either they have a large share or a little share. It depends on the situation of the inheritance and who is alive, and which is what is the circle of relations alive. The closer the relation is, the larger the share is. Different rules and regulations. This is not our topic here today. Now, concerning children in Islam, the rights of children are equal. They will inherit and they will have shares. And Rasulullah said, اعدلوا بين أبنائكم. And he mentioned it 3 times. يعني be just with your children. Don't prefer one over the other. And when you have a gift to give them all. Don't give one and leave others. As sometimes the emotions and how much you like this child more than the other one plays a role in this. Sometimes you give this child a gift and you don't give the other, although they're all your children. That's wrong. Then Islam made people equal all together. So we cannot differentiate between male or female. They all inherited. There was an event, something happened with Rasulullah. One man came to Rasulullah to make him witness his gift to his child. Bashir, his name is Bashir. He was a companion of Rasulullah. And he came to Rasulullah with one of his children, and he wanted Rasulullah to witness his gift to this child. So Rasulullah said, Ya Bashir, alaka waladun suwa hada? Do you have another child than this one? Then Bashir said, Yes, Ya Rasulullah. I have more children than him. Yani, I have others. Then Rasulullah said, Then did you give them all the same gift as you're giving this child? He said, No, I'm only giving this one. Then Rasulullah said, Then I'm not a witness to this. I will not witness to something wrong. فلا تشهدني إذن فإني لا أشهد على جور. Then Rasulullah, that means And either you give your children all equal gifts, you're giving a gift, then you give them all. You do not specify one child with the special treatment and leave the others. That will leave emotions and feelings and hard feelings with the others, to see you prefer this child over them, prefer their sister or their brother over them all. Um, strong hard feelings will be there, and that is wrong, and that what Islam does not want to happen. Islam wants this, all the hearts to be clean and clear towards each other, with love, peace, and wishing good. Another story happened with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as one man was sitting with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and two of his children came to him. Then he took one child, he was a boy, he kissed him on the I think the forehead, and he sat him on his lap. Then his little girl came, so he carried her, he kissed her, and he made her sit next to him, not in his lap. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, you're not just with them. فَمَا عَدَلْتَ بَيْنَهُمَا. You did not treat them equally. You carried the boy and you put him in your lap. That means preference, huh? Much love. And when the girl came, you carried her and you made her sit next to you, not in your lap. So you're not equal with the treatment to them. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to happen. So children inherit, disregard their gender. We cannot say only boys inherit. لا, that is not true. And we cannot say only girls inherit in certain situations. Also, that is not true. They both inherit, but the share is different, depends on the situation. And we cannot say in every situation the boy or the male inherits more than the girl. No, that is not true. In so many cases, women inherit, let's say female, inherit more than men. And let's say the myth that is all around everywhere, that men inherit more than women, or let's say male inherit more than women, in all cases, that is not wrong. That is not true. It is absolutely false. As for in around, if I'm not mistaken with the number, around 32 or 39 situations, females inherit more than men. And around also, if I'm not mistaken with the number, Ya Rab, 16 situation, men inherit more than women. So see, it is not a must in every circumstance that male inherit more than women. So the share difference regarding the situation, and that's a different story, and it's not our topic today, because we're gonna go through lots of details. Inshallah, we'll keep it for another time. But regarding children, now, when Islam came, regulated that even the fetus in the mother's womb will inherit. How is that? Well, if the father dies, or let's say a relative to this child dies, and the mother is still carrying, still pregnant with this child, And if this child is born alive, he or she will inherit. But what happens if this fetus is born, or this baby is born dead? Let's see different situations and we'll learn now. لأن يعني in general the baby either born alive or born dead, or either born alive with normal يعني or C-section operation يعني that's regular, or born dead, killed in an accident, in a crime. It differs. But in general, when the mother puts the baby يعني delivers the baby and the baby is alive, as Abu Huraira said, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إذا استهل المولود ورث. استهل يعني when the baby shows first signs of life, either a cry, a sneeze, a loud voice. You know how it is when a newly born baby acts, kicking, moving, making some sounds, showing that this creature is alive. There is life in this baby. Then immediately at that nanosecond, this child inherits. And what if the baby is born dead? If the baby is born dead without a crime, يعني عادي خلاص the mother goes to deliver, but subhanallah, the heart of the child stops when the mother doesn't know. Subhanallah, يعني that's normal, not related to a crime. The baby is born dead, then خلاص لا يرث ولا يورث اتفاقا. He does not inherit. There is no inheritance from this child for the parents. Full stop. As if it was not there anyway. But if the baby comes out dead because of a crime, either an accident or a crime on the mother, that somebody came to kill her baby or kill her, then the baby is detached from the mother and it's dead. Then in this situation, he does not inherit anything, but there's something called a diya that is paid when somebody kills somebody, and then he pays diya شرعية. As here it's not called diya, it's called الغرة. لا يرث هنا الطفل شيئا ويملك الغرة فقط ضرورة، ولا يورث عنه سواها. ويرث هذه الغرة كل من يتصور إرثه منها. يعني this amount of let's say compensation should be paid for the parents when a crime happens on the baby and the baby is dead inside his mother's womb. And it goes to his heirs, يعني his parents. Or even يعني if it's not the parents, the father is not alive, the mother died, then to his heirs. It depends on the situation. Either he has brothers, he has uncles, he has sisters. It depends. He has grandparents. It depends. But one scholar said if the baby is born or detached from the mother and dead, then he does not inherit, and he does not and he does not inherit anything, and he will not give anything to be inherited. Now, when the baby is inside his mother's womb, and one of his relatives dies, then what happens? They need to distribute the inheritance. And if this child inherits, then they have to they're between two decisions: either stop distributing the inheritance until the baby is born, they have to wait for that, either a long time and still they're still maybe 3-4 months ahead, or a short time, a week or two, it doesn't matter, they decide. But if this baby in that situation of that relative who died does not inherit, then it's irrelevant. They don't have to stop the distribution of the inheritance, and they can carry on, because this baby, it doesn't matter if it comes alive or dead, boy or girl, he's not an heir assassin. Basically, he's not an heir. It depends on the situation. Now, as we said, the heirs can decide either to carry on if the baby is an heir, and they have to distribute the inheritance of the relative. Either they have to stop the distribution completely until the baby is born, because he is an heir. And then they have to, either a boy or a girl, then they have to keep distribute as the shares Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided. Or they don't have to wait for the baby is born. Some heirs, they need to carry on and finish the distribution of the inheritance. And they say, let's distribute the inheritance and keep the share of this baby aside. And what they keep, what they have and must keep, is the largest share. It depends on the gender, boy or a girl. They don't know. They don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And we're not gonna depend on the technology of nowadays, sonar and other stuff. They have to decide on the distribution and keep his share aside. And keep the largest share. Now, if the baby is born alive, خلاص, he gets his inheritance. If he deserves or she deserves, that depends on the gender and the situation of the relatives and the inheritance itself. Then if this baby deserves the largest share according to Quran, then خلاص, his share or her share is there and protected and prepared for it. خلاص, it goes in his favor. But if he or she deserves the lowest share, then they give the baby this lowest share, and what is left, they redistribute it on the heirs, the rest of the heirs. Clear? It could be a little bit complicated, I know. I'm trying my best to keep it as simple as it could be. Is it clear until now? Shall I carry on? And if the shares will not change, disregard, one of the heirs, his share will not change, disregard the baby's gender or the baby's share. Then it will be given his share خلاص. يعني give the share and let him go or let her go. But if it depends, my share depends on the baby's share, then I have two choices. Either I wait until the baby is born alive and then we distribute, or I get my share and we save the baby's share, and if the largest the baby takes, or if the lowest, then takes the lowest, and then redistribute the other left share on us all. And there are some heirs يعني will not inherit if the baby is born alive, because this baby will block that heir. Again, it depends on the situation, huh? If the baby will block that heir, يعني let's first say, for example, if the deceased is the father, and well, his wife was pregnant when he died, and he has no children. This is the only child still in his mother's womb. We will have to wait until this baby is born. Let's say this man who died, he has brothers. If this man had no children, then his brother will inherit from the deceased. But if that baby is born alive and that baby is a boy, then he will block his uncle from inheritance. So if we have this situation, we cannot distribute. We have to wait until the baby is born alive and see if it was a boy or a girl, because the girl يعني and it depends also on the situation. In some situations she will block others, in some situations she will not block others. The boy definitely will block everybody else because he is the descendant of his father. He will block his brothers, yani his uncles. He will block the deceased brothers, yani the baby boy will block his uncles. So we will have to wait, because now we're doubting if the uncle will inherit or not. إنزين. And from the heirs, their shares might differ, plus or minus. Plus or minus depends on the baby's gender. Then here, what shall we give them if they don't want to wait until the baby is born? We give them the less share. We don't give them the highest share. We give them the less share, and we keep the unborn relative, unborn heir share aside, but we give him the largest share. So when the baby is born and he deserves the largest share, then خلاص taken. But if he deserves the less share, then we give him this or her this less share, and we redistribute the rest on the rest of the heirs. And of course, if the baby is born dead, خلاص, there is no inheritance for this born dead child, and the whole inheritance, tarika, or the whole thing goes for the other rest heirs without any consideration for this pregnancy or this dead child. Now, what if the baby is born alive? He inherits or she inherits immediately, صح? But the next morning the baby is dead. or after few hours the baby is dead. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله إنا لله وإليه راجعون. Then what happens with this inheritance? When the baby is born, he inherits or she inherits. Then and there, bang, the share is put aside for his account. خلاص. Few hours, the baby is dead, or next morning, the baby is dead. Now here we have to distribute his inheritance or her inheritance on the child's heirs. Clear? This is a very important point. Some might be confused regarding it. انزين بعد شنو اكو هني؟ Now if for example, if there was a miscalculation with the inheritance and they kept aside for the child the less share, and the boy the baby is born, and it appears that the baby deserves a larger share than what is kept for him or her. What should we do after we have already distributed the inheritance on the rest of the heirs? Then we have to go back on the rest of the heirs to gather the amount of share that he deserves and recollect it and give it back to this child. Any question here? I hope everything is clear. Now this is how beautiful Islam is. Left no question mark. I mean, everything is specified and detailed, and no misconceptions and nothing not understood. Everything is clear, everything is elaborated in Quran or in Sunnah. As Rasulullah said, I left you, تركتكم على المحجة البيضاء. I left you on the clear evidence, Quran and Sunnah, the narrations of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there you have a clear evidence, a clear elaboration on the matter of inheritance. Not as it was before Islam. Children had no inheritance at all. Fazmina Nawaz, you have a question here. If before inheritance distribution a daughter dies while giving, you mean the birth to a daughter, you mean like the mother dies while giving birth to the child? It doesn't matter here if it's a child, if it's a boy or a girl, huh? Is the daughter inherit mother's share? Yes, definitely. It depends on the situation and regulation. But yes, if the boy is born or the baby is born alive and then the mother dies, there you go. The child inherits his mother. The share, of course, depends on the situation. We're not talking about shares here, but definitely the child inherits the mother. Very good question. Jazakallah khair. Yes, Fazmina. Very good question. Jazakallah khair. Let's say Alhamdulillah ala ni'mat al-Islam. We thank Allah on Islam, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that made us Muslimin. See how beautiful this is. You can never find any other religion with this beautiful regulation, and how well elaborated and how well explained, and how Islam left no point. You can never find a point in this life which Islam did not regulate. Alhamdulillah. Now, let's talk a little bit about the guardian of a Muslim child. Now, if, of course, that's before if, sorry, a child, his father is his normal, let's say his normal parent, his normal guardian. He's the one who takes care of this child, either a boy or a girl. But what happens if this father dies? Then there should be a guardian over the children. And it could be, as also regulated by Islam, either the grandfather. It depends if the father, the deceased, but before he died, he has written down his will and specified who is the guardian on his children after he dies. If, let's say, he has specified that the mother or the uncle or the grandfather, it goes directly, the guardianship, to that person. But if he did not specify, then it goes to the judge, and the judge decides who takes care of it and who is the guardian, appointed by the judge. Normally, it goes to the grandfather and regulated as, subhanallah, by Sharia. The judge can decide when they present this matter to him, who is the guardian according to the situation, who is capable and who is, let's say, has the complete conditions to be a guardian, and who is trustworthy in this matter, and who can handle the matters. And if the matters of this boy has inheritance, large inheritance, which sometimes include lots amount of money, companies, stock, stuff like that, which needs experience, that's a different matter. That needs experience. Maybe the mother that cannot or does not understand anything how to run the money, then the judge can decide who takes care of this guardianship. Now, let's see what are the duties of this guardian, disregard who it is. This guardian must take care of the money or the wealth of this child, invest his money in which brings benefit to the child, and which make the money grow larger, and which makes the money be protected, and puts it in a good investment that has no high risks. Deals with the money in which brings benefit to the child and increase the amount of it. Cannot take any risk with that, and cannot even handle the money freely. There are rules and regulations for that, in order to protect the money of the child. and protects the child's interest. The guardian can give sadaqah from the child of the money of the child, but in an amount that does not lessen the money or gives a huge difference. Must pay zakat. Must pay zakat for the money of the child, and his main duty is to safeguard the money of the child, protect it and invest it and increase it more, and not take any risks with that. Now, until that boy or girl reach the age of puberty and is now an adult, then the money should be given to that, now we cannot say a child, to that adult. And it's well known the age of that, either 15 or 16, when they reach the age of puberty. And the the mind has to be taken into consideration here. That he has a clear, good mind, yani a normal person. He could grow up, or this child grows up, but not normal brain, with some problems in understanding and dealing, yani awareness, until it depends if this is a sickness, a disease, or brain malfunction, then the guardian keeps his duty and does not give that person the money, even if now he's an adult, because the adulthood and the full awareness and full attention of the brain, which functions properly, is important, both of them. Now, what if the guardian is poor and he's taking care of the child's money, investment and stuff, but this takes lots of time and he cannot carry on his job, and he needs money to live, let's say, then the judge can give him an amount, like a monthly allowance that should not increase. It should not be يعني with a big amount of money, only which can give him يعني support to live his life, or pay his rent, or feed his children, يعني a small amount that can يعني make him carry on his life properly from the child's money, على قدر ماله وحاله. يعني on the يعني he should not become rich out of this little allowance that is paid from the child's money, if the child now is very rich. And he should make sure that this child is dressed up well, without overspending money on that, and is fed well, and the place where he lives is proper and clean. These are all the duties of the guardian. These are all duties on the guardian. The guardian is monitored very, let's say, step by step, strictly, very strictly. The guardian is not left without regulations to handle the child's money, because uh, he's interested in that. He doesn't own it. So he is held accountable for everything that he does, and it has to be for the welfare of the child, and which brings benefit to. Islam protected well children, their shares, their rights, their well, at that time they have no duties. Protect them well regarding the duties of the parents toward their children, protected them well regarding the guardian uh, responsibility over that child, and held accountable for every filth that he pays right or left, held him accountable for everything that he does, and it should be only for the favor of that child. If the decision is not in the favor of the child, it should not be taken. Held accountable for the amount of money that he pays when it's necessary, even for the amount of money he pays for the child or buys him stuff here and there, should not be overly done, even if it's the child's money. It should be protected. He should not overspend and lose the money, and when the child grows up, there is nothing left for him to handle. So this is all could be, should be taken into consideration, and this is all regulated in Islam, alhamdulillah. Now, these 2 points that we have discussed, the inheritance of the child as an heir, or he as in the situation of the guardianship, all puts in the favor of the child. Whatever problem occurs, it is always the situation and the solution goes whatever is in the favor of the child, not against the favor of the child. So this is all regulated by Islam, alhamdulillah, well protected for children. Even you cannot, شوف Rasulullah, as I mentioned at the beginning, did not allow the father to give a gift for one of his children and leave the rest. يعني there is no such protection for children, even for their feelings and how they will feel. There is no other religion that regulated this. But alhamdulillah, on the blessing of Islam, that we have all of this regulated, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave hasanat to those who protect their children, and did not allow for them to harm any of the children, either boy or girl. There is no different treatment for the gender of the child. For that, they are all equal. So alhamdulillah, ni'mat al-Islam. And I hope I was quick and short in elaborating these 2 points. I hope I was successful in delivering this small topic easily and well, I hope inshallah well elaborated. The matter of inheritance is so big. and now we hear stories about different nations, nationalities, countries that are not Muslim, searching for how Islam regulated inheritance, and they are applying it, although they are not Muslims. I personally, over those past years, I heard how in the US they have kept the chapters of inheritance in their library, and whoever wants يعني, his inheritance to be regulated by the rules of Islam can do that. And I have also read about a case in Britain. They were not Muslims, but they wanted the inheritance to be distributed as Islam regulated, and they were allowed to do that. So there you have there you have examples of that shows you how Islam regulated it beautifully and just. It is so just. It is not true what some calls now you have nowadays, that they want to make the inheritance between men and women equal in the civil society, as we read and hear. That is wrong. That is wrong, because they're giving less shares for those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them larger share. And as I stated before in the beginning of the class today, or the talk, let me say, if you study, read, and go through the inheritance as a whole, and you learn about the shares, you will find that women inherit more than men in more than 39 cases, if I'm not mistaken with the numbers, either 32 or 39. Yani, and women inherit more than less than that number, I think in 16 or 18 matter. So it depends on the situation, the relationship, how closer it is to the deceased, and who is there and who is alive and who is dead. It depends on different matters. But there is nothing better than Allah's rules and regulations. It is just because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is adl, and He made everything of His regulation adl, just and beautifully elaborated in Surah An-Nisa. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to discuss your question marks here. I think we just now reached the end of our talk today. I hope it was beneficial to you all, and I hope that I added some new information to you, and let's open new frontiers to learn about inheritance in general or in specific matters. That is very beneficial to learn more about the regulations of Islam. Jazakum Allah khair for attending, listening, and I hope you enjoyed the talk today. If you have any comment, regulation, let's hear from each other. Hello, Rowena. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Wallahi, thank you for listening. I hope I was beneficial. I hope I helped you learn something new today. We all love children, and subhanallah, our religion, Islam, gave us more ways to be just to our children, and treat them in the best manner, in the best way, knowing that if we treat them well, we'll be rewarded for that, and they have this right on us as parents or relatives, and bringing them up properly according to Islam and according to the teachings of Islam has the greatest rewards. Um, Not taking care of them is sinful. Neglecting children is sinful. Not teaching them the worship is sinful. We know that now taking care of our children from A to Z, from birth to Allah knows when, until they're adults and they can stand up for themselves, and that's, subhanallah, much rewarded. Thank you for attending. Hope to see you inshallah in another topic that we discuss in sometime later on. Jazakum Allah khair, and thank you for listening. In the end, I would like to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us all in knowledge, give us strong faith, and protect us from every harm. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.